Alright guys, welcome to episode 2 of G.I.SEATS. We're bringing back Maulana Ahyan, part 2, episode 2. And so today our interviewers are
Bilal
and Ali,
and then
Hassan.
we have a side
Hassan
character.
we got on the side,
Hassan's our side character, and then Ahyan.
Maulana Ahyan Yoonas.
I think he's well known in the community. Everyone already knows him.
I mean, the 10 people that are gonna watch this podcast know me.
Yeah, the 10 people that watched
15
it.
people.
The 50, the 60 followers, or how many followers?
We got 50.
We got 49.
We're making out of the trend.
49 followers.
49
All right.
followers, crazy.
Okay, let's begin.
Yo, who unfollowed, bro? I swear it was 50. I swear it was 50.
You're only 22 and already a Maulana. So what inspired you to take this path so early in life?
I think my dad was really a big motivation. I mean, you just still feel. I mean, there's a long path to go still, but just like being around the right people, being around scholars, decided I wanted to pursue it, and parents were supportive. So yeah, alhamdulillah. I think just things lined up correctly, and yeah.
So when did you start the course?
Allah.
I think I started Hifz when I was like 11ish. Alhamdulillah, I think finishing like 2 years. And then things just lined up because like I remember me and one of my guys, we walked in to the office, we're like, oh, can we do Arabic with you? And he's like, sure, let's do Arabic. And then we started Arabic slowly, and then like we had never had an all-in course in the masjid, but then 1 year then we were the only class, and then 1, 2, and then moving forward. And obviously transferred later out, but alhamdulillah, things just lined up and worked out. And Mufti Sahab, taught us basically for free, alhamdulillah, and yeah, we're always in his debt.
So this is the second
Allah.
question. Can you walk us through the day in the life during your studies, and what was the hardest part of your journey?
Okay, so here's the day in the life of madrasa. This is my 6th year. We're here in Chicago. So
Wait, when did you start madrasa?
I was like my early teens, I think.
Okay.
So then I did a few years here, and then I went to Chicago to finish it. Dar es Salaam. So this is how it went. We had Fajr in the masjid. Everyone had to be there for Fajr. My attendance was mid. Pray Fajr, and then class was at 7:50. So you basically had that time to do whatever you wanted. Breakfast, sleep, whatever. Obviously, I knocked out. 7:50, you had to be there. You turn on your phone in the office. You walk up to class, and 7:50 you start class. I think you have 3 periods, and then you had 10-minute break, 3 more periods in the lunch break, and then you had 3 periods after the door.
No technology.
Yeah.
So
what time did it end
you
up?
had so I think 4:45. Some days 5 o'clock depending on the teacher. Basically about 4:30, 4:45 you were done with the day, and then you had break basically for till 6:30 was the time. We had what we call takrar. Basically, everyone had to gather in the masjid basement and then review their lesson or review the discussions and everything for like another hour and a half, 2 hours.
No doom scrolling.
And so, but basically, I think class would end at 4:45. Guys would then be chilling, playing ball, eating, whatever. And then Takrar would come, and after Takrar, usually Takrar would go to the Isha, especially in the winters. You pray Isha, and then basically everyone is free. Our schedule was mainly just pray Isha, and then I think twice a week, maybe hoop. But for the most part, just sit in the library, to be honest. I wasn't a student, just surviving. So,
Yeah.
I'm not a good student.
And was there like a moment in your studies where you almost gave up?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think
what do you
things just went year by year. Like at the end of the year, it's just like here's the next year, here's the next year. Some of the things just lined up. Things click every day. Like like different. For example, like there was a moment where I could tell you like Arabic grammar started making more sense, or like fiqh started making more sense, or certain things just start making more sense. So every discussion has a point of confusion until it makes sense.
Someone quote that.
So every day is a
Every
clicking
discussion
point.
has a point of confusion until it makes
Something
sense.
quote. Okay.
Maulana Ahyan
Something
Yoonas.
quotes.
Quote
Okay.
that.
Quote that. Somebody write that down.
Okay, so what do you think is the biggest spiritual struggle facing the youth today?
I think absence, staying away from sins is like a big problem now, and especially now. Like I mean, being in the West, being in a society where immorality is not just like it's seen as a glorified thing, right? So people don't just like classical societies, even if they weren't religious, quote unquote, or even if they didn't have Islam, there were still certain things that were like socially looked at as immoral, right? Those things are dying out nowadays. So you're living in a society where things are much more normalized and people are desensitized to them. So I think the biggest thing that the youth are facing, at least and I think I face this myself, is just how do we stay away from just falling into haram every single day?
Yeah.
But like specifically, like what type? Like, because there's many sins.
I think the sins of the eyes are big. The sins of the ears are big, right? So music is a big problem nowadays. Sins of the eyes, keeping your gaze on is very hard for a lot of people. I think, and again, it's like the society is such, especially in the West, where it's just people don't dress in the most moral fashion. Our phones are filled with immorality, so you're just kind of like always being faced with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the greater the test, the greater the reward. So.
Yeah. Yeah,
We got some snacks.
we got some podcast snacks.
Y'all see the budget?
Y'all see the budget? Clip farming. Uncle is clip farming.
This is a hospitality.
Hospitality of GIC,
Wait, it's
guys.
not in the camera.
Yeah,
Push it
no,
back.
thank
Push it. Yeah, there you go. This is Uncle is
All right,
clip.
we'll take a little snack break. A little
Okay.
snack break.
All right. Come on.
No clue.
Let's move on to a different
Next
topic.
question. We're gonna ask you some like fun type of question. Like
Go to zero.
if Bilal can let me speak.
No.
So,
I thought it was sweet.
what's something people would be surprised to learn about life in a madrasa? Something that would surprise people. They wouldn't be sure.
Fish eating all.
Yeah.
That's it as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Osman's like eating the cookies. I guess he didn't like it.
He's being big.
Thank you. Those cookies were really good.
Yeah, amazing.
Mother's life is quite. It's tough, but it's actually quite enjoyable. It's some of the best moments I had were in madrasa. Granted, I mean, a lot of my life has been in madrasa, but I mean, just like
The
you
connections
think
made.
you think about like staying, with the guys till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, just messing around, having discussions. I remember like exam week was especially crazy for us because the masjid was open. We were in the masjid 24/7 because by the time you go home and stuff, unless I take a shower, which was like one if we needed to. But I mean, those moments where like basically we all get together in the masjid basement. You would study after Isha to like, for a few hours, but then eventually guys would just kind of like get tired, and then the vibes would start.
Yeah.
Right, like I mean, the people, and there's always like food. There's always food in madrasa. Like there's
Food is a
always,
requirement.
Cameraman dream right
like
there.
there was always people who would just bring food. Like I remember guys walked in with like random musallis, like here's like 4 dozen donuts or like here's a tray of biryani, and then you pull out what we call the sufra.
Yeah.
The sufra gets rolled out. I remember there's a clip of us where a guy brought like donuts, and then we'd have cups. So you poured milk into bowls, and we're all dipping the donuts into the same bowl of milk.
Crap.
That sounds
I
good.
think I can find. I can find the clip.
I will insert the clip right there.
Insert
bro.
the-
Insert the
insert
clip
right
right
there.
there.
Yeah, but it was this is quite enjoyable. Obviously, I mean there are tough points. I mean the studies are tough. You're dealing with different things, and like it's a hard schedule. Like I'll be honest, but you make good memories.
all worth
Did you guys have like time to work out? Like, did you guys have like free time?
We had a gym. Our mother had like a full-out gym.
Oh wow.
A lot of guys used to work out, lift. Most of the guys would hoop though. That was our thing.
Yeah.
The runs were good, man.
Was this at what, like Darul Islam?
Dar es Salaam,
Yeah, Chicago, yeah.
Yeah,
One
much
and
is so
two.
nice.
Alhamdulillah.
If you weren't a Maulana right now, what would you be doing?
Dr. Saab.
The basics,
Saab,
engineer
This is
Saab.
standard. Dr. Saab, Engineer Saab,
Lawyer Saab.
Lawyer Saab.
I think I've had an interest in like science since I was a kid. I think I was initially going to do something in medicine before like during high school I was going to stop madrasa and then do medicine. It was like a conversation for about a year and then eventually became madrasa full time. So I think medicine would have been, I don't know about doctor fully all the way, maybe like something else, but I think something medicine related would probably been
Physiotherapist.
something around that.
Practitioner or something.
Because I can't do IT. I don't like coding. I don't like any of that stuff. Engineering, I suck at math. So
Yeah.
all that leaves is
Yeah.
Dr. Saab.
Dr. Saab, that's the last.
Dr. Saab.
12 years of
business.
studying,
Yeah.
graduate at 40, start getting a salary at 40,
And have like
get married at 45,
$500,000
First
debt.
kid at
half a
50.
million dollar debt. You can't.
$500,000 debt.
pay
You
it
can't
off.
pay it
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
first kid at 50.
Retire at 86.
It'd be
First
like
kid at
that.
50 is outrageous. Not gonna lie. First kid at 22. First kid at 23. Inshallah for Ahyan.
Alright.
Inshallah.
What's your go-to nasheed or Quran reciter when you're just trying to vibe out?
This guy's
What?
always posting nasheed on his story. The
Always.
group nasheed on his story.
Actually.
Go to a Quran reciter. Low key, man. Some local guys. Quite local there, bro. He's just the go. Like I have.
He's the
What a
go
guy.
I have like.
Tag him.
He's my
I have-
favorite king.
I have so many
Spoiler.
clips of him. Like I mean, the imams, the harams are there.
Yeah.
Not to say stuff about all of them, but like I don't listen to them as much because I have so many like so much local talent. I mean, Qadr Qadir's there. There's a few guys that I have from others that are like really good. like it's just Squad Abdul Qadir is just so good. Like, I just have clips of
Hassan
him.
loves Squad
Yes,
Abdul
he's
Qadir, bro.
him. Like he is the goat.
As for
Like
Nasheeds,
GOAT.
Be on the lookout. He might be on the podcast next.
Maybe
future guest.
as for
maybe.
Future
Nasheeds,
guest
my go-to is the Borda. The Borda. I think low-key it's probably the most enjoyable to read, and I've listened to it so many times. I think it's all like these guys when I sit in my car, it's like basically I was playing.
Yeah.
I have like 4 or 5 different like times that I was done, and then basically I just like go through them. So
You have those like waffy low in the sheets where you have
Yeah,
to
the
like,
waffy's,
download
like-
them on the files. You can't find them other than
The one that has all the shooting
Telegram.
and stuff
You can only
in
find
it.
them on Telegram.
I don't have the mine's on straight just voice recordings.
Okay.
It's not nothing sus. I just
Yeah, nothing sus, nothing eyes,
Nothing
the
sus.
big eyes, the big eyes, big eyes.
So, as a young scholar, how do you handle being asked tough or controversial questions in the community or in the masjid or whatever?
Things I just finished studying, so I haven't really been faced with like proper community service yet. I think for the most part, I try to avoid controversial questions. I think a lot of people will come and try to like pin something on you, or you have to. A lot of people
Try
aren't.
to make you
A lot of people
look like
aren't
a bad guy.
sincere, right? So
Yeah.
like some people, they might have like genuine confusion about something. So then you kind of have to sit down and explain it to them. But a lot of people, they just want to find something to talk about, or just make you look bad in a
Some people just want to argue
conversation.
for fun, you know.
Do you
Like,
have, like any examples?
Any
that come to
stories?
mind?
Stories?
Stories? Share with us.
Yeah, there was. I mean, for example, like one thing that like I remember there was one time where someone came and asked like, can we celebrate birthdays, right? And I basically told them like, my teacher said a person should avoid it, and except different things that are mentioned. Some of the fatwa say it's impermissible. I basically said, look, but I understand from my teachers that we shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Avoid it. Just even if you don't say that it's impermissible, which I think a lot of my teachers say that it is impermissible, but let's just say it isn't. For the sake of being safe, avoid it, right? But then he basically was like, what, there's this scholar and then this scholar and this scholar. And then what happened was he asked me this question in a masjid where the imam of the masjid or the person in the masjid actually believed it was fine. And he asked us in a communal conversation. It was clear that he was trying to make me look bad in front of everyone else, saying that, look, Ahyan, and I was like in 3rd or 4th year at the time. So I was,
3rd or 4th grade?
crazy.
no, 3rd and 4th year. I was like, I think I was a sophomore in high school. So I stayed like 2-3 years. People were like, and I could tell he was I had no experience at that time. So he was just trying to make me look bad. But like, oh, look, Ahyan. And I remember someone said something to the effect of like, oh my God, this kid studied like a few books and he's contradicting the scholars of our community and stuff like that, and like whatever the case may be, I mean, that discussion is there. My point is like from then I was like, okay, I need to like take a step back, because at the end of the day, it's a lot of people don't have genuine questions, and I'm sorry to say that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
If someone does have a genuine question, you can tell by the way they're approaching you, the way they're asking you, their tone of asking. And a lot of times I'll literally frankly be like, do you actually want me to explain this to you, or do you want to argue?
Yeah.
Because if you want to argue, I can walk
Move
out.
on, yeah.
And if you actually want me to explain it to you, people come that they actually have genuine confusion about X, Y, Z. Sit down with them, explain it to them. But man, just stay away from the controversy, man.
Can I eat some crabs? Oh,
Are you serious?
all right.
What's one misconception people have about scholars that you wish more people understood?
One misconception about scholars.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people assume that scholars are.
Cameraman face reveal.
Oh shoot! I forgot.
I think a lot of people have this misconception that scholars are completely unaware of the world, especially like when you have like these like our generation, and they look at some of these scholars that maybe weren't born here or
Older.
immigrants or even on the older side, and they completely assume that they don't know anything about like the world at all. Sure, they may not know your slang or Gen Z literature, or they might not know the exact experience, but to assume like I think a lot of people just assume that they don't know anything about the world. I think it's a very big misconception. They actually know quite a bit. Sure, there are points where scholars maybe should know a little more. Maybe they should be more educated about certain topics. I know myself, I need to be more educated about certain things on the secular side. But that being said, I mean, to give a blanket ruling, which people do, that scholars don't know anything about politics or don't know anything about X, Y, Z, I think is unfair. A lot of people are pretty much experts in both fields, but there's work to be done on both sides. One side has to understand that just because you study Deen doesn't make us exclusive of everything else. But the scholars also have to work on, okay, maybe we should have more mastery of other fields beyond just Islamic studies.
Just like know what's going on in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like the generation.
Right.
All right. So let me ask a question now. Cameraman question.
Behind the camera. Okay.
TikTok shakes. Insta Imams, podcast muftis.
No names, no.
What's your take on this wave of online Islamic personalities?
Oh god.
Interesting question.
We're not gonna name drop.
No name.
We're too
dropping.
popular for that.
Name drop the
Yeah,
office.
we got 49 followers.
Okay.
One of them will slide, bro.
Look, there's good sides and there's bad side, right? For everything, there's a good and a bad. With this, let's start with the good first. I think the good aspect of quote unquote TikTok muftis or TikTok sheikhs is that you're appealing to a demographic that generally isn't as connected, if you will.
Yeah.
So you have these people. I mean, I'm not saying that all people that use TikTok or use social media are not coming to the masjid. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you have a broader net. So like if you're getting 10,000, 15,000 views, or, even more by a TikTok video, you're appealing definitely to a good amount of people that either don't come to the masjid, only come on Jummahs, or come for Eids for that matter, or people who just don't really care about the deen that much.
Yeah.
It's quite a large group of
Or like
amount of
people
people.
like, don't go out of their way to listen to like scholars like that questions, the Q&As, or whatever.
So the thing is, you have a lot of people that are not as connected to any religious institution. So now you're appealing to those people by at least giving them some sort of information.
Right.
The question that comes is like, well, what are they being fed? And I think that's where my biggest concern comes in.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these
Bid'ah.
scholars, a lot of these scholarly muftis are, it all comes down to this: who is the person saying it, and what are they saying, right? And I think in our deen we have a big concept of, and we have a tradition, and you have an authority within that tradition. So a person that's giving you something, religious advice, in talking about the religion, should be someone who has studied in the tradition of the religion, A, and B, is licensed by his teachers to speak about that. That's why we have madrasa, that's why we have institutions, that's why we have Islamic colleges, because we want people to go study, to learn the religion, and then be allowed and licensed to teach that religion to others. If you don't maintain that idea, then you get the idea of people who are half-baked scholars, if not scholars at all whatsoever, who are then just saying things, because the idea is that when you haven't been trained in a tradition, when you don't understand something holistically, you say things without realizing the bigger picture of things, right? It's not about knowing every detail. I don't know every single thing about the religion. Most people won't know everything about the religion. That's impossible. But the idea is by being trained, and again, I'm not there yet, but scholars are there, where you have the ability to basically, you have a worldview, and you have a skill. And that skill is the ability to look at anything of the tradition and process it and explain it to people. The problem is you have these half-baked guys who will look up on sunnah.com, here's a hadith. You can't, this is haram because it's a hadith.
Coffee is makruh. I don't care what
Coffee
your
is
scholars
makruh.
say.
Yeah, for example, and he's like, coffee is makruh, and then he'll bring some, whatever reason. Sure, okay, understand. We in our tradition we have ikhtilaf, we have difference of opinion. People are entitled to have a difference of opinion. But as my teacher said, you can have any opinion you want. You gotta bring an evidence, a dalil. You can have any opinion you want. You gotta bring an
Learning
evidence.
some new vocabulary. Huh?
No, I know what it means.
As our scholars, as the quote says, "In kunta naqilan fasihhatu, wa in kunta mudda'i fadalil." If you are narrating something, you have to authentically attribute to the person who said it. And if you're claiming something, you gotta bring evidence.
I saw this one video of this guy. He's like doing takbir as a collective in a group.
Oh, yeah, I saw
after
that
eats,
video too,
after
yeah.
eats a lot.
I
It's
saw it,
bid'ah.
I mean, again, and the question to be asked, a lot of these guys, the way they're getting popularity is by making these clickbait. So coffee is makruh. Just throwing out, you're taking something that a lot of people drink, coffee, which is one of the biggest things in America.
What your scholars say.
Come on, get some.
And so and then you're just saying, oh yeah, blankly it's makruh. And so you have a lot of guys like that. The other problem is these young guys are out there, and they annoy me the most, is because it's just such a blatant disrespect of everything else, and that annoys me the most. Like when they come out there and they just say oh, this is the opinion and everyone else is wrong, everyone else is misguided, everyone else is mubtadi',
Self-entitled.
right? And then the question that comes is well, you're the only one who got it right. You're the only one who got this correct. You're the only one who, of all the scholars of the tradition, you got it right, and everyone else got it wrong. And again, it goes back to scholarly training. One thing that happens a lot is that they misquote scholars in the past. So they'll be like, oh, this person said this. First of all, the guy doesn't know Arabic, so I don't know how he's reading it. He's reading he's either wrongly translating it, Google translating it, or let's just say there's a translation available, right? To read a book, someone which are very sophisticated without a teacher, you're going to be confused, you're going to be misguided, and then you're making blatant statements that are stupid and completely uninformed, and it's just not good.
So what would you recommend to young guys who like believe everything they see on TikTok? TikTok shakes. Like, is that this,
Connect
this and that?
yourself to a scholar. Go to your local masjid and connect yourself to a scholar. It doesn't. And here, this is where you got to put away, like, oh, he's Hanafi or he's Maliki or he's Shafi. Put all that aside. Just come to the masjid, find someone that you trust, and connect yourself to him.
This weekend. This is what happened. So we were having a barbecue with steaks, and then one of them had a question about Ali. Like, my bad. I just never know. So one of them had a question about the steaks.
Bleep that.
Yeah,
The Sam's Club steaks. They have like they're
packaged in
they're
the USA.
packaged in the USA. So they come out of their original Zabiha packaging, and they're talking about cross contamination now. So what if they touch a surface or with surface with non-halal steaks that were there previously? So then we call Imam Matib. We're like, Imam Matib, what's this? He has the exact brand of steaks in his freezer. So he pulls it out and starts reading it. It's so funny. We're on FaceTime with him. He's like, shoot, I have to do some deep research on this. I'll get back to you. So and then in the end, he was like, just to be safe, just go with the halal butcher brand. So we drove like 30 minutes to a butcher and got
Also
steak
cost
from
like
there.
$30.
Yeah.
And then that's like that's what happened.
Yeah.
We were with him. We like it was so funny. It was Imam
No,
Matib.
but see, we have Imam Matib available,
Yeah.
right? Imam Matib is someone like you can, like, he's that point of contact for everything now, you know?
Yeah.
And like, even when someone comes to me and asks me a question, like, unless that person is someone who's known me and trust and comes to me for questions and like historically has done that. Otherwise, if somebody's new to the masjid and they come to me with a question, unless they want an answer from me specifically because I'm Hanafi or whatever, I will tell them go to Matib. Imam Matib's there. He's the Imam of the masjid. You know, you guys should be going to him. And they go to him.
Yeah. All right. So these are the quick rapid fire questions because we're nearing the end of the time. So
Nearing the end of the time. It's
quick
crazy.
fix.
Don't say how much coming, guys. Don't say how much coming, bro. End of
The
time.
budget's not that high
Is
yet.
cereal with milk considered soup?
Yes, cereal with milk is not good.
One
You
is
didn't hear the question
wait,
properly.
wait.
Rewind.
Is cereal with milk considered soup?
Soup.
Is it a soup?
Never.
No, it's not a
Never.
soup. That's a dumb question. I
One
ain't gonna lie.
Islamic book every young Muslim should read.
The Quran.
Quran is there. I think there's
All right.
every young Muslim should read.
Yeah. I'll give you like a basics understanding.
Yeah.
Time like is good, but it's not. I don't think it's. Let's see. What's a good book? I think no one reads nowadays. Is the problem.
Yeah,
That's
facts.
facts.
No one reads nowadays. There's a
If they made
podcast
a
you should
movie on
watch.
that book, everyone would watch it.
G.I.SEATS.
GIC's podcast. All right.
GIC's podcast.
Next, shawarma or biryani?
Biryani.
Bro,
Shawarma
what kind of
runs-
question is that?
Shawarma
runs any
Shawarma
day.
gang.
Are you guys okay?
Are you guys okay?
Shawarma runs
Good
No,
shawarma.
biryani all the way.
And-
Bro, you're Pakistani. Everyone here is
Okay.
Pakistani,
press
bro.
runs, bro.
Okay, how about this? Another broader question.
Biryani all the way.
Arab food, like Mediterranean food versus Indian food.
I'm tired
Basic
of
food.
Indian.
This
I'm
is
Vegetarian
tired.
food,
I'm
why?
tired.
You okay?
I had
Osman, get in here. Osman,
I
get in
had
here.
Mediterranean food for 2 years when I was studying. It was good, but dude,
Bro, not
basic
Indian food.
Like,
Desi
good-
food. Desi food
Like
takes.
kabsa, this,
over.
that, like, dude, I'm telling you, those
Bro,
flavors, like,
biryani-
can't.
Are you okay? What's
Yeah,
up?
biryani-
Fake Indian.
Never,
biryani?
never.
Bro,
What's it called, bro?
Fake
Karai,
Yeah,
naan.
No.
Butter
Rashi.
chicken?
Listen, let
Okay,
me tell
butter
you
chicken,
something.
yeah, I'll say yes.
I'm
ST.
tired, bro. We went to Texas.
Nahari.
Was with him,
Kebab.
Hamza, Waleed, and his brother and everyone. We went to Texas, and out of all the food there is in Texas, Indian food.
No, what's it called?
And it was the
You guys
worst
in
lunch I've ever
I
had.
say no. We went to August was good, or what's it called? August. I
You guys were in
think,
Houston, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Houston.
Houston just tasty food.
right? Yeah, just this.
Bro, come on.
Thing is,
like, we're
no,
in
I'm saying
Texas.
Arab, like
Guys in
Mediterranean food
Dallas,
is
bro, they have
better
a lot
than
of
Indian
chicken
food
places
and
of
desi food on like
American style.
every level.
Or you might just be tired of
The
Indian
flavors
food.
are more like okay. Anyway,
I think you're just tired of it.
Yeah, you're
I'm
just
also
tired of
I'm
it.
tired too, bro.
okay. What the heck? That's weird. Unless you want to ask that favorite hadith that you feel
Favorite
sums
hadith.
up. No, favorite hadith that you feel sums up your mission as a Maulana. No. Yeah,
My mission. I'm trying to find myself,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
I think one idea
And
that comes to mind that I really try to like, hopefully embody one day was like, I think the Prophet said, "The khairun nas and nas." The best of people are those that are most beneficial to other people. And I think if I can just be like as close as possible to that hadith, just try to serve other people as much as possible. Obviously, figure out my own stuff,
Yeah.
but then just try to serve other people, man. I think just service, having a mindset of service, actions of service.
When you get married, like another income
next
source
40
comes
years.
in, so, like,
What did that have to do with the question as
all
well?
right. Anyways,
Why is Osman all shouldn't be marriage and
Okay.
everything?
Osman, we
Anyways,
should get you like
so-
topic.
yeah. Wait, what?
I'm
We
not
should
talking
get
about
what? No, we're not talking about. We're
I'm doing
cutting
that
this
for
out.
Mama Season.
Osman.
Okay.
We should
this-
come here and review your offers. You know,
Oh, the
there's a bit of
offers?
rumors going on that you've gotten a few
I got
offers.
one,
you know?
2, 3, 4. Okay.
Mm.
The like yesterday's game. How about that? What about that? Was there black magic
Ooh.
involved?
Black
Was there
magic involved. Oh, bro.
Were they?
Their black magic wore out.
They were out after the 6th game.
Wore out after this game.
Oh, okay.
We gotta let him finish. He's pondering. He's
Are
pondering.
we ending it? I think this is the
I don't want to talk about the playoffs.
okay. Great yesterday's game. All right, guys.
All right, that's it.
That's it for Jesse.
I think that's it for
This is the end of episode 2.
G.I.SEATS episode 2, part 2 with Ahyan.
Any
That's it.
last words? Any quote? Any quote?
It's been good. I mean, I hope the podcast. I think it's a lot better than last time.
Y'all see the budget, bro?
The budget is up,
We
bro.
got
Yo, show them the
tripods.
tripods, bro. Show them
Budget
the tripods.
increase.
Wait, it's on your phone.
Show them the tripods, bro.
Okay, budget increase. Budget.
What a budget.
You guys see this budget? 2
Yeah.
tripods.
And the light, bro.
And cookies.
Snacks.
Boom.
We're
That's
up.
it.
Alright.
Here you go.
All right, assalamu alaikum.
Before we end, can we get some, let's see. Who would you think would be a good next guest for the podcast?
Next.
Imam Matib. I'm calling him
Imam
Matib.
Matib?
Imam Matib.
Matib, this is for you, bro. You better get on the podcast.
Oh, call out.
Oh,
Oh.
Boom. All right.
Okay, on that note, let's end.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wabarakatuh.